You know that feeling, right? That frustrating sense when you're the one who's always kind, always giving, maybe sacrificing quite a bit.
Hmm.
And yet somehow it feels like you're just, well, not getting the respect back, maybe even walked over a bit.
Yeah, it's a really common thing people feel.
And you end up asking yourself that question. And honestly, we hear this a lot. Okay, I'm being kind, so why isn't it landing? Why don't people respect me?
That is such a core question, isn't it? It really cuts to how we navigate relationships.
Hmm.
And, it's not usually that kindness itself is the problem.
Yeah.
It's more about understanding how that kindness is, well, perceived
Hmm.
and maybe how we're actually delivering it.
Exactly. Because this week, we really went deep into some pretty compelling material. It's from a speech by Kathryn Kuhlman, which we found presented on the Word of God Message YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And it offers this really fascinating angle on why our best intentions, our kindness, might not always get us the respect we're hoping for.
Yeah, it's not about ditching kindness at all.
No, not at all. It's about seeing maybe a deeper principle behind it all.
And that's really our goal for you listening today.
Mm.
We want to dive into this, sort of unpack the different layers,
Yeah.
and hopefully bring some clarity. Our mission here is to explore, well, 5 key reasons from this message that might explain that gap between your kindness and the respect you feel you deserve.
Think of it like a guide, maybe, to understanding this whole dynamic and possibly, making some shifts in your own life.
Okay, ready to jump in?
Let's do it. So the first big idea that really jumped out was this concept of kindness without wisdom.
Ah, yes.
It's not the kindness, but the lack of maybe understanding paired with it.
Exactly. And what's really key here is separating true kindness from just being, say, agreeable all the time
Mm.
or constantly sacrificing yourself.
That's a subtle but important difference.
It really is. It's easy to just mush them together, isn't it?
Oh.
But the source suggests that real, genuine kindness isn't passive. It actually has a kind of authority, a strength.
Right. It even pointed to the example of Jesus, obviously incredibly kind, right?
The epitome.
But also someone who absolutely set boundaries, who said no when necessary. He wasn't just a pushover.
Not at all. And that makes you think, doesn't it? How do we find that balance? Because,
Yeah.
wisdom and kindness seems to come from really knowing your own value, your own limits.
Yeah.
When your yes means something because people know you can say no, that's where the power, the authority of your kindness really shows.
It's not about being tough or mean, just grounded.
Exactly, grounded in yourself. And the question the source asks is, well, it's pretty probing. Have you let your kindness become your chains instead of your power?
Oof, that really hits home. It makes you stop and think.
It does.
And that flows perfectly into the second reason, doesn't it? This idea of failing to set up clear boundaries. It's almost like without those lines drawn, you're kind of accidentally telling people how it's okay to treat you.
Yeah. If you think about it, boundaries are essential everywhere, right?
Yeah.
In nature, in business, they define what's okay and what's not.
True.
So when they're missing in our relationships, even the kindest heart can just get drained, used up, and like the source puts it pretty starkly, cast aside.
Wow, cast aside. That's harsh, but maybe relatable for some. Have you ever, found yourself wondering, why do the people I help the most seem to value me the least sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. It's a common paradox.
And this boundary idea really explains it. Your constant giving without limits can almost devalue the gift in their eyes.
Yeah. And think about the expectations that get built up.
Ah, yeah.
If you're always the one saying yes, you're setting that pattern, people just start to assume that's the norm for you.
Right, that's just what you do.
So then the one time you do have to say no, maybe for a very good reason.
It feels like a betrayal to them almost.
Exactly. Confusion, maybe even resentment, which is so ironic, directed at the person who's given so much.
It's a really tricky cycle. Which brings us to number 3, and this one, wow, it really made me rethink things. Mistaking kindness for submission.
That's a big one.
Like, if you're always putting others first, always bending over backwards, people might start to think your kindness isn't really a choice.
But more like a default setting.
Yeah, or even maybe a weakness.
And there's a psychological element here, isn't there? We humans sometimes don't fully appreciate what comes too easily or what's always there for the taking.
Interesting point.
So if you're always accommodating, always the flexible one, people might subconsciously think, oh, it must not cost them much.
Right, it's no big deal for them. So your kindness carries less weight.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
They might assume that because you don't resist, because you don't make demands, that you don't have needs, or power.
And boom, taken for granted.
Exactly. And the message we're drawing from is super clear on this. Real kindness is not being a doormat.
Definitely not.
It comes from inner strength. It's not driven by this desperate need to please everyone, even if it hurts you.
So it's about finding that sweet spot again.
Yes. Be kind, but be firm. Be generous, but be discerning. Be loving, absolutely. But always, always keep your self-respect intact. That balance is just crucial.
It really is. And, that leads directly into the fourth reason. How we might actually be teaching people not to value us by always being available, always sacrificing our own stuff. It's like we're accidentally creating the lesson plan for how to overlook us.
That's a powerful way to put it. Think about who you really respect, whose time you value.
Okay.
Are they the people who drop everything for anyone at any time?
Yeah.
Or the ones who, have their own priorities, their own limits?
Generally the latter, I'd say. Their yes feels more significant because they could say no.
Precisely. There's a paradox there. Those boundaries often command more respect, not less.
So the message here is really urging us, isn't it? Make a conscious choice. Stop letting your kindness be treated like a welcome mat for mistreatment.
Yeah, be kind, of course, but never weak. Never let it erode your dignity.
And it really calls out that faulty thinking that being kind means you have to say yes all the time, sacrifice constantly.
It labels it, quite rightly, as self-neglect, which it is.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, not everyone who asks for your help actually deserves it, or, maybe more critically, will value the energy you pour into them.
That requires discernment, doesn't it? Choosing where to invest that kindness.
It really does. It's a key part of that wisdom we talked about earlier.
Okay, which takes us to the fifth and final reason, and this one, it really hit me. Confusing being liked with being respected.
Oh, that's a classic trap. So easy to fall into.
We think, if I'm just nice enough, agreeable enough, people will respect me. But are they really the same thing?
The source material argues pretty convincingly that they're not. They're really quite different.
How so?
Well, respect often grows from things like strength, self-confidence, standing by your values even when it's tough.
Okay, requires some backbone.
Right. Whereas being liked, well, sometimes that just comes from conforming, from avoiding any kind of conflict.
Yeah.
Just wanting everyone to be happy with you.
And the danger in chasing liked
The danger is you end up prioritizing it above your own needs, your own truth.
Yeah.
You say yes when you desperately want to say no.
Mm-hmm.
You might even put up with stuff, bad treatment, just to keep things smooth or avoid disapproval.
Yeah, I can see that.
And again, think about the people you genuinely admire. Do they seem desperate to be liked?
Not usually, no. They have a sort of presence, a firmness.
Exactly. Their kindness feels authentic because it seems to come from a place of inner security, not neediness.
Yeah, the desperate plea for validation.
Right. And true respect, the message really hammers this home, comes when people see your kindness as a choice, a deliberate act from a place of strength.
Not a weakness they can exploit.
Precisely. You're willing to help, yes, but not if it means sacrificing your own dignity. There's a line.
And the powerful thing here, the real takeaway, is that the people who truly matter in your life, they'll respect you more for having those standards.
Absolutely. And the ones who are only there for what they could get,
They might drift away.
yeah, they'll likely fade out. And honestly, that's probably for the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
It clears the way for healthier connections.
That's a really good point. A filter, almost.
It is. So maybe we can just quickly run through those 5 points again,
Yeah.
just to consolidate.
Good idea.
Okay, so first, we had kindness needing wisdom, not just being agreeable or sacrificing constantly.
Right. Avoiding the yes person trap.
Second, the absolute need for clear boundaries. Otherwise, you're kind of inviting mistreatment.
Okay.
Third, being careful that your kindness isn't mistaken for submission, which can devalue it. Fourth, how always being available can unintentionally teach people not to value your time or effort.
Teaching them the wrong lesson.
Yeah. And finally, that crucial difference between chasing being liked versus earning genuine respect and not compromising yourself for the former.
Wow, when you lay it out like that, it really emphasizes that need for balance, doesn't it? Kindness from strength.
Exactly. Kindness rooted in self-respect, not obligation or fear.
So a final thought then, maybe something for listeners to mull over.
Yeah, perhaps consider this. Think about the power of the word no in your own life. Just reflect on that.
Okay.
Where have you been saying yes? Maybe more out of obligation or guilt or habit than out of a real, genuine desire to?
That's a challenging question.
It is. And then maybe ask, what would it actually look like for you to start reclaiming some of that power, to set maybe just one or two healthier boundaries?
Because the core message seems to be that real kindness, the kind that's grounded in self-respect and wisdom, that's not weakness.
Not at all. It's a profound strength.
And that's the kind of strength that ultimately earns genuine, lasting respect.